welcome back to the Channel Insight podcast. My name is Dinara, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Pablo Hanono, my friend from Argentina. Welcome to the show, Pablo.
Hi, Dinara. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited. Really, thank you for having me here in the show.
Fantastic. Pablo, I've never been to Argentina. I hope you're doing very well there. Tell me a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, what does AI mean to you, what does channel mean to you. We're all thrilled to know more about you.
Yeah, so absolutely. So just let me introduce myself for those who never met me before. So I'm Pablo Hanono. As you said, I'm actually based in Buenos Aires, Argentina, but been really working globally for many large vendors in the IT space for over almost 20 years now. Every job I had after I graduated actually has been running partnerships and working around partnerships, and that's really how I got here. I started working for a company which was acquired by the channel company today. So it was really my first hire was to run co-marketing for Intel at this company in Argentina. And then I started to slowly kind of level up my career. I worked for Cisco. I worked for Avaya, running from inside sales to a partner management team. And then a couple of years later, I joined Oracle, where I spent 13 years and almost a decade running their partner program. That was kind of the evolution from being an on-prem company to a cloud company. So that's really where I learned a lot, and that's kind of worked along the transformation of the channel and really in getting into an ecosystem truly as it is now. And then in the last 2.5 years, I've been working for Pegasystems, which is a workflow automation company based out of Boston, where I'm also responsible to run their partner program.
Fantastic. We've got so much in common with you. Not do we only have love for the channel, but we also used to work for the company called Cisco Systems. I started my career there, so it's great to know. So you just mentioned partner programs. Your career have been around designing partner programs. So tell me a little bit more about it. Why did you choose this path? Why channel? Why partner programs?
From the very beginning of my career, I started engaging with partners and understanding what really partnering means. I believe there's kind of a little bit of everything, because in one side, I always had kind of a spirit of a salesperson. So I always like to sell things across the board. I also studied, and my major is in communication and marketing. So that's kind of where I'm coming. And I kind of found this connection between driving sales, marketing at scale. I always like to kind of go beyond the surface of even working with partners directly when I started as a partner manager, and try to get more into the strategy. And that's exactly really that intersection is the core of running partner programs, where you need to talk to a lot of people, understand the business, understand how partners operate, because this is like a two-sided coin. So in one side, I've primarily been on the vendor side, but you also need to take into consideration really why you are into a business relationship, and really partners' interest is, of course, running a business, so they have their own economics. So you need to understand all of those aspects. So I always enjoy that, and I think really running partner programs is never the same in every day, because your tasks, your priorities are changing as the go-to-market strategy evolves as well for every company you work for. I'll say it's a pretty interesting, never boring kind of job and space to be in, where you can combine some knowledge of the product and technical, but not too much, because I'm really running the program and the business. You don't need to be as technical, but you need to understand how the business works, really why partners are doing what they do, where you need partners, what is the outcome, the business outcome you need to drive through the partner program, and try to connect really all the dots. So that's really my passion. And I think it's working with people from everywhere in the world as well. And I do love this idea of collaborating at a global scale with different cultures and different type of really people and interests.
You're definitely my sort of person, because, designing partner programs is a very creative process. And I think you just mentioned that your key skill is communication as well. You need to be able to sell partner program internally and externally. So I know there are a lot of brands and a lot of companies are in the process of redesigning their new partner programs, maybe changing it to point-based programs. Do you have any advice for those who are just starting to refresh their partner programs or perhaps building it from scratch? What should they focus on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, first, really running a partner program in the past few years have changed a lot. So I think some of us, we are coming from a mentality of the old channel distribution model, which still applies to hardware. That it doesn't mean it disappeared. Not all companies have built strong ecosystems and they operate as a platform. There's many technology companies that still operate in a model where there's a two-tier distribution, where you have distributors, and then you have partners who resell, and then eventually you have some kind of supporting services type of ecosystem. But that's enough for them to operate. So that's kind of one way to run the business and run partnership operations, which still applies. On the other side, and of course, after the 2010, where we saw all of the adoption of new SaaS models where you pay per subscription and all this subscription economy, and this new way where you don't get paid upfront the entire cost of a solution, and you need to really drive value through consumption of your solution and get people to really unlock that value.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of forced the channel and programs to evolve into more complex ways to run partnerships. I think with that mentality, kind of my advice, or just to get started really in developing any partner program, first of all, you need to have clarity on why you need partners and where you need partners. It's critical that part of the prep work for any person developing programs, you spend a lot of time with your leadership, your CRO, of course, your executives, talk to your sales teams, but also very important, talk to your product teams, because often the product team is really who is understanding where there's a product market fit, where they will really need partners versus where they don't really need them. So all of that conversation is critical, and it's part of this initial phase. And I think you need to have, again, clarity on the type of outcomes that you want to drive through your channel. It's not the same a company that, for example, is already established and they know their market. They are really looking to operate in a single country or geo. They have a strong sales organization and they seek for partners to really deliver support or deliver services around it. That,
Yeah.
compared to a company who is in a market expansion phase where they want to expand internationally into new markets where they really never had a presence before. That means they need to create a program that will recruit, enable partners who go sell and then implement those solutions on your behalf. So the skills, the investment, and the relationship you need to build in that case is completely different. And so that's your partner program. So that's kind of the first advice is understand where you need partners, what you need from them, and which are going to be those key metrics or outcomes that you want to drive. Because the way you build the partner program actually sits exactly on top of those outcomes. If you are going to build a program which measures things that are not your core KPIs, then that's not the right program.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you can measure 15 things, right? But you need to kind of keep it focused to what really matters for your business. So that's kind of the first thing I can say. And one more aspect that I feel it's critical these days, especially for companies that are developing new programs or kind of going to market with partners for the first time. I think it's about investment. This is not like a new thing, but sometimes it's underestimated, especially these days where there's so much market saturation. I mean, a channel partner may be doing business with, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 vendors at the same time. So you are, in a way, competing for their mind share and their share of wallet to do business
Yeah.
with you. So you need to keep in mind their perspective and their interest. And I think they also expect like a best-in-class type of engagement. So you need the right infrastructure to run your partner program, the right UX, the right PRM, like the right tools. So they feel that really they are engaging with a technology company that is at the level that they expect to do business with. And that includes also investing in the right people who are skilled to operate those tools and infrastructure and bring the best partner experience. I think that's sometimes overlooked companies believe that just by doing their first partnerships hire, and that single person is going to manage all the new partners that you recruit and develop a new partner program. That's something I see a lot, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But just arm that person with the right tools and understand that if you really want kind of the business to run through partnerships as a core go-to-market motion, you're going to have to invest really, not just like one person is never going to be enough.
I'm totally in agreement with you, and I'm so grateful for all your advice and insights, especially when you mentioned the outcome-based partner program. So that's a key. Then also understanding the landscape of the partner, who to target, who are the key targets. Then you mentioned the tools. I love technology and everything running on it. That's important. Also, top it up to the hierarchy of the partner experience. So, partner experience is one of the key things and topics we discuss a lot on this channel. And it kind of leads me to my next question. You know, a lot of people in the industry now, industry in tech, and not only in tech, in fin, wherever, are talking a lot about introducing AI into partnerships, right? So you mentioned tooling now, right? Tools and technology. How do you see AI playing a role in it? You know, have you already seen or experienced where the introduction of AI has perhaps improved the partner experience, and at what touch points? Could you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yeah. So absolutely, I see the answer will have like multiple layers. So let me just start from an individual standpoint. So I think first of all, we are all using AI in our lives. From like, okay, how do I cook this? To I don't know, I just feel pain in my hand. I'm gonna check for the symptoms. So we're really using AI across our lives already. So
Yeah.
I think for companies, they need to understand that we are already using AI. Doesn't matter if it's based on the company policy or not. I think people are using at the individual level AI, and I think we are all a lot more productive than we used to be, especially around
Yeah.
specific skills around writing, producing content. I believe even if you are an organized person and you can use your agenda in the right way, I think AI is helping you prioritize a couple things and stay on top and do follow-ups. I think there's a ton of different ways to utilize AI at the individual level. What I do see on the other side, some people are investing more in learning those skills to use AI. So some people began to use AI to create QBRs that
Mm-hmm.
actually took you a week to prepare, and you can actually be ready to go just with one click if you have the right infrastructure. So I see people thriving with AI where they stop, they
Mm-hmm.
take a pause and invest in learning how to unlock value from AI and then automate part of their work. It's not the same, and it's actually a challenge for everyone because the new tools are coming up so fast to market that sometimes you don't have really enough capacity to keep doing your job, but at the same time see how you can do it in a better way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a challenge for especially for us in tech. It's not other professions where probably they can really take AI in a slower way, but us we need to catch up for sure. So I see this kind of difference between the personal adoption and then how companies are adopting AI at scale. So I believe what I see there is kind of a couple of trends already. First, large companies, like especially vendors that already operate globally with thousands of employees, I will say that the policies are a lot more restrictive on those cases. So I believe the adoption and the tools that you have available really are limited or are kind of slower in launch and adoption because, of course, of our security and really other types of concerns. I believe smaller organizations really are now unlocking value much faster because they can truly buy, acquire, and adopt some of these new methodologies from day one. So it's not the same to work in a very established, super big ecosystem than a person who's going to create a partnerships motion and work with 20 or 30 partners. They can adopt those tools much more effectively. And I think that the other aspect of the other layer is actually, as I said earlier, partners are expecting something different from us as a vendor. That's another trend I see.
Mm-hmm.
You already are using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to ask questions. So
Yeah.
I think partners more than ever, they expect that kind of consumer experience when they want to operate their business with Claude or Gemini. So there's a few people who are connecting through MCP and putting even their partner programs connected to those LLMs where you can do a deal registration just from your cloud application or that kind of experience. That's where we're coming. And if as a company, you don't invest in taking that layer up and not just like individual adoption to just create presentations that look nicer and faster, that's where really it scales, and we're gonna kind of quickly lose mind share of wallet with partners because this translates directly into ease of doing business. And of course, unless you are a large company who, I mean, customers love you and they will never stop buying from you, and that's why partners do business with you. If you
Yeah,
are a medium-sized company who needs to still kind of invest in marketing and sales to drive market value, I believe in that case you need to really invest that through your partners so they have the best experience and they can operate with you like really in a smooth way, and those barriers are removed. And I think that's another aspect of how we will be successful with AI. It's kind of reimagining some of those processes to unlock value. I believe one critical area where I also see some good adoption is, and we can spend a lot of time talking about it, but we know as partner professionals, we like to say, you have 1,000 partners. How many truly are producing value for you? Maybe it's
yeah,
20%. It's less than 100 out of those 1,000. Then you need to focus on activating the other partners and nurturing them, understand which are the ones that perform. I think AI is bringing like a layer of business insights and intelligence on where to put those bets. And also on the other side, can help you automate a lot and engage better with that long tail that you didn't engage before. So you can, in a way, separate who's performing well much better rather than just like what a partner manager probably has done in the past few years, which is I love these guys and we have a really great relationship. But on the other side, they're just not driving the pipeline or they're not driving the business at the pace you need. So that's something that
exactly.
AI is helping many companies already kind of understand where to place the bets and where to invest. And then on the other side, it helps you automate that engagement with those that you couldn't have enough time or resources to cover. And then maybe that's your next layer, that emerging layer of partners that are going to drive value for you in the future. So that these are just kind of a couple random ideas around how I see AI kind of impacting our space.
But it's really useful. You've mentioned very useful use cases because AI can help not only the partners themselves, but also the channel account managers to say, hey, they've done all the current steps. So I think this is a time for you to re-engage in real life, perhaps, and give some insights for the salespeople to re-engage. Now, really great stuff here. Pablo, thank you so much for this. I wanted to touch upon another project of yours. I understand that you have your own projects called Books on the Channel. What is it? Tell us a little bit about it. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, so I started Books of the Channel actually in the pandemic. It was one of those projects that started when we were at home. And I always like to read books on partnerships because
Me
on the
too.
other side, I was just talking about like I'm coming from a sales mentality and marketing and communications. And usually people who get to partnerships, they just come from so different backgrounds. And there's kind of no career path that's super structured to build a partnerships career. So I always kind of found books as a good source for insights and learning new skills. And by that time, I said like, why I can't share those books with my colleagues and peers. Really, it was an effort to spread the word on nice and good reads that I had, and then use that also to get to know new people and form new partnerships. And then over time, this led to right now to a library of almost 100 books that are indexed on the
Great.
site. I got recommendations from people like from very diverse roles, many leaders who shared the books that they read and they found useful. And then I started to slowly create some enablement content and share more kind of materials to help some of the colleagues understand concepts around partnerships better. And then about 2 months ago, I also launched my first course, which is called Partner Ecosystem Fundamentals. which is meant to actually help those getting started, or also people from sales or from other backgrounds that don't get partnerships that well yet, and they want to get started on the fundamentals, precisely those things
Where
that
do you run this course? On Udemy? Where do you run it?
you mean the course?
Yes, the
Oh
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an on demand. So it's an on demand course that I hosted on Books of the Channel website. So
Oh,
anyone can sign
lovely.
up.
I have to look it up. This sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I think this is, again, there's a lot of opportunity to learn in the partnership space. I think we are
Yeah.
all producing content like this podcast to collaborate to help other professionals, and we also need more and more education to really get better and sharper.
And close collaboration, it's so important. I mean, look, you are in Argentina, I'm in London. By the way, when are you coming to London? We need to meet.
I've been there like probably like 10 years ago for the last time, but it is on my list. It is on my list. I need to go back to Europe. My last trip, actually, we went more into Italy and kind of better weather, I must say. But London is always a city that I enjoy. So I'll come back.
And it's so important, Pablo, because we have amazing events going on. Like, for example, one of the key events we're having this summer is called Channel Meetup. I'm actually going to be speaking at that event about AI and partnerships. And someone like yourself would be an ideal candidate, for our discussions or just participating. That's so important, especially if you're planning to expand your business across Europe. So that's really great.
No, we'll love to be there. Let's chat offline for
Yes.
sure. No, and I'm a big fan of promoting diversity across the channels and ecosystem landscape. Of course, I live in Argentina. I've kind of operated at global roles, but sometimes even companies that want to expand or operate globally, sometimes they only bring the perspective probably from resources in the US. And it's not that Latin America is a strong market, but I think that I also see a very strong ecosystem of partnership professionals in the UK, many people in France and Spain as well. So I see that really, a critical component of running partnerships globally is to actually hire and work with people from other countries because they bring you another perspective. So I think that's critical for everyone running partnerships.
Pablo, I'd like to understand a bit more about your hobbies. What else do you do beside channel?
So when I'm not working in channels or writing about channels, no, I think really my hobbies are like common ones. I try to keep the work-life balance to the best extent, spend time with family. We have a dog, a very active dog. So actually I go on walks and running over the evenings. I play soccer as every Argentinian person will do. So I'm pretty much kind of a sports guy when I'm not working.
Oh, that's really good. What's the name of your dog?
Oh, he's called Rudolph. He's a border collie. So
Okay.
he's really active. So really he needs a lot of walks and runs every day. So that's kind of the moment where I unplug or use that actually to think through the project that I have in work. So it's kind of that balance.
Pablo, please send me a picture of your dog if you can, so I can insert him here into
Okay.
the channel, so our audience can look at your dog. No, this
For
is
sure.
really great because this is how we get to know people in the channel. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Is there anything else you would like to share, or I haven't asked you about?
No, I think we nailed it. I really enjoyed the conversation. As you said, for us as people running partnerships for technology vendors, we need to keep like an open mindset, meet new people, really invest in getting to learn every day and connect with other people doing similar stuff. I do see there is something really nice about people running partners and partnerships because this is like when you meet in events and activities, there's truly some honest conversation. Even if you compete, I've seen a lot of people working with like large corporations and the companies compete one with each other, but really you operate less as a peer community. So I love that about partnerships, and I think we need to kind of keep that mentality and spirit. And this podcast is perfect for that. So also thank you for hosting this type of conversations.
Fantastic, Pablo. And I hope to be able to travel to Argentina one day to attend some of the channel events you may be running. So please feel free to introduce me to those events. Thank you so much.
For that.
Thank you.